What is going on, YouTube people? New York Cards and Comics here today to have a little chat about the Death Star. We joked all during peak pandemic times. When will PSA be a fully operational Death Star? Made the jokes. We thought they were there already. We really did. We thought they were complete. Here, they were just partially complete. It was like the Death Star from the end of Return of Jedi. It was operational. It could blow some stuff up, but it wasn't like all the way there yet. Now, they still have some flaws. Autos, vintage, that stuff is way lagging behind. But ultra modern orders are a flying. This one actually took a little bit longer than other people's that I've seen posted. I've seen a ton of posts at this point in time. The $15 special that they rolled out in January. As you can see, my order is complete. It arrived to PSA a little bit before January 9th. I think it got delivered on the 7th. They entered it into their system on the 9th. And here we are, January 30th. Less than 30 days later, this order has already shipped out, and FedEx says it will be here for me later this week. Wild stuff. And like I said, I've seen numerous posts of orders from this $15 special of cards being done already. Clearly, on the ultra modern side, they have got things figured out to a degree, at least from a speed standpoint. No spoilers on the grades. We'll talk about the accuracy standpoint when I get my order back. But what does this mean for everybody else? Two ways I want to take this. What does it mean for everybody else, and what does it mean for PSA? For everybody else, Beckett, and we're going to get gem rate numbers here in like 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. I'm recording this on the 30th. When you're watching this, it's the 31st. That'll be Wednesday. We'll probably get gem rate numbers late Thursday night. That'll probably be my video for Friday or Saturday. Beckett, they're basically a non-factor outside of RPAs and some autos and some 90s stuff that people like to send them. CGC, they're basically everyone's go-to for PC. Not everyone, but a lot of people use them for PC. Nobody uses them to actually make money. There's a very few niche cases. I did it earlier this year with the on-site grading at the National and some things like that. SGC is the one, that you could leverage the fast turnaround times, the wonderful customer service that they have down there in Florida. Great company. People love them. You could leverage that turnaround time. So a lot of people would send stuff to them, get it back fast, get it on the bay before the PSA orders came home. Beat those PSA orders out the door, and you're good to go. What happens if all of a sudden PSA is a lot faster? Now, they're not going to be as fast as SGC is, though, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. I have heard SGC is actually running a tad slower. Now, a tad slower for SGC means your orders are taking like the full 10 business days instead of being door to door in 10 business days. But still, that's, now instead of getting stuff back in like a week to 10 days, now you're getting stuff back in maybe 10 to 14 to 20 days, just depending. And once again, if you've had orders run faster than that, please let me know. I'm just kind of going off of comment sections and what I'm seeing on Blowout and some other stuff. Not running overtime, but just kind of really pushing that 10-day limit, which is a good sign. That probably means they got a lot of cards to grade. But when that gap suddenly narrows, when SGC is still really fast, but PSA is pretty fast, what does that then mean for not just SGC, but everybody else? When you cut out that time advantage that they have, what happens now? Now, this $15 special ends. Today is the last day as you are all viewing this. I have one more order I'm going to get out the door. I have about a 10, 11 card order. I might send something in blind. I have a Gunnar Henderson auto coming back from Topps Redemption. Supposed to be delivered on Tuesday. That's not going to happen. Now I am in the FedEx not nightmare, but just the FedEx wonderfulness of, oh, your package was supposed to be delivered, but it's still 2 time zones away today, game on the tracking app. So I don't think it's going to be here on Wednesday either, which means I might just add it to the paperwork and just send it in blind, because I don't have to actually send the order in until the card gets here, but I need to have the paperwork completed by the 31st. So we'll see. That one might just get sent in blind. So when PSA is this fast, how does that trickle down to all of the grading companies? I believe just from looking at the weekly numbers and talking to Gemrate, it seems like PSA's numbers are going to be pretty close to what they were in December, roughly. So it's not like they all of a sudden amped out the output, and that goes with the next conversation piece. This $15 special is about to end, and I have to imagine they got a lot of cards for this. That being said, it's clear the beast is capable of turning those cards out, spitting them out the other end. I'll be curious to see when the second submission goes in. How does that one work out? Does it move through the process just as quickly? And my grades have been done for over a week. This thing sat in assembly for probably close to 10 days before the actual grades popped. They popped late night Monday night into Tuesday morning. Is the beast getting fed? Is PSA getting enough cards to maintain their, million plus a month? That, to me, is the next interesting question of all this. If PSA is capable of churning out over 1 million cards a month, and it's clear these were submitted in January and they are coming back to a lot of people in January, what happens when the $15 special goes away? Obviously, submission numbers are going to slow down. Now, I'm sure they'll roll out some new special. Maybe it's not Ultra Modern. Maybe it's something else, or maybe it's, some baseball special because we're heading into baseball season. Boy, a baseball special would be awful nice if you're listening, anyone out there, with Top Series 1 coming out. Some sort of Ultra Modern baseball special. Sure wouldn't mind seeing that. With Series 1 on the horizon coming out on Valentine's Day, you and your loved one rip a hobby box. What happens when this pricing special runs out and they go back to the normal $19 pricing tier? How fast are those orders going to run if they don't have all these $15 cards gumming up the works? Are we finally reaching that point where, I don't want to say the grading companies are running out of cards to grade, because the new product is always coming out. There's always things coming in. But on the teeter-totter, are we reaching that point where it's starting to, on the scales, whatever you want to call it, are things starting to tip the other direction a little bit, where things are balancing out? Now, if PSA can maintain it and they could sit at around $15 and turn cards around in a month, maybe they even flirt with getting a little bit cheaper, that to me would be, one, a big win for collectors and people that want to grade, and flippers and evil investors and all that stuff. And I also think it would be trouble for the other folks, because if PSA can turn stuff that fast, that's one of, everyone's first knock would be, oh, look, they're slow. You'll never get your cards back. Send them into PSA. You'll see them again in 8 years. Well, if they're turning bulk orders around in a month, less than a month, and this was with a pretty good pricing special, now what happens when that pricing special runs out? Are they going to get even faster? They're grading out of, I think, 3 facilities now. You got California, Jersey's up and running, and now they got stuff churning out of Japan. Do we see more aggressive pricing out of them? Or are they, maybe they're going to be okay. Maybe this is where they want to be. Maybe where they want to live at is, hey, we're not keeping cards in here other than vintage and autographs, because like I said, that could use a little bit of love, but we're not keeping Ultra Modern Sports or TCG in the building for longer than 30 days. That's something Peter at SGC's talked about in the past. If they don't want to keep cards in the building, they want them in and want them out again. Quick, get them gone. What if PSA ever got to something even remotely close to that point? To me, that would spell a little bit of trouble for the other guys. And then it would also be a little bit of a concerning glance over at PSA about, is there enough cards out there to satiate you guys? That beast is hungry, needs fed. A lot of cards got to come in. A lot of people got to be ripping packs. A lot of people got to be sending stuff in card savers. A lot of little boxes got to be going off to California. A lot of pieces of plastic got to be coming out the other end to maintain an over 1 million card pace. Now, maybe they don't even want to grade 1,000,000 cards a month. I don't know. Maybe they would be more profitable if they were actually grading a little less than that. I don't know what their situation is with like overtime and extra employees and all this nonsense. Maybe they could get a little bit leaner and still maintain the current turnaround times. I don't know. It'll be interesting to look at the gem rate numbers later this week. And then it's going to be interesting to see what they roll out for a February special, if anything. I'm sure they'll have something. And then it will be intriguing to watch those numbers as we move through this first part of the year. Now, Series 1's about to hit. There's, Prism's about to hit. Basketball, Prism football just hit. So there's a lot of stuff coming to feed the beast, but is it enough? Are they too fast for their own good? I hate that. Would those words ever? Do you ever think you'd say those words about PSA? But ideally, I do think if they could settle into a nice around 30-day turnaround time for bulk, that feels like a good place to be. They don't have to keep cards in hand for a long time. People would be more confident in sending if they're consistently getting cards back that fast. So maybe that's the angle. I don't know. Curious for your thoughts and comments down below as always. PSA reveal upcoming very soon. Got to get that package in hand. We got gem rate numbers coming up very soon. Probably take a look at the tag numbers. Again, seeing what the tag bots are up to after their pricing shenanigans this past week. All sorts of fun stuff coming up. All I got for you boys and girls. Catch you on the next one. Peace.